प्रेम से आपके नाम को लेकर आनंद में डूबे हम सब, आनंद में डूबे हम सब। कृपा करे श्री माता जी, कृपा करे श्री माता जी। निर्विचारिता दे दे माँ, एककार अनुभूति के लिए सानिध्य सामीप्य सदा रहे माँ। निर्विचारिता दे दे माँ, कृपा करे श्री माता जी। निर्विचारिता दे दे माँ, निर्विचारिता दे दे माँ, निर्विचारिता दे दे माँ।
Let's put ourselves into bandhan. After, please. Attention on your Sahasrara. Don't close your eyes. Push back your head. One. Again. Sit straight. Take it up on your head. Two. Three. Now a bandhan. One. Two. Do it properly, systematically. Three. All of us should do properly. Three. Four. Five. Try to wait as I'm doing. Six. Seven. Still not, we have not done it properly. We all should do in one rhythm. Let's do it again. One. Slowly. Two. With attention on the Sahasrara. Three. How do I do it? Four. Five. Good. Six. Attention on Sahasrara. Seven.
Today we are talking about the sixth chakra called as Agya Chakra. The Gya words means to know. Gya is to know. And A means the whole. Agya Chakra also has another meaning. Agya. Agya means obedience or to order. It can mean both the things. If you order to someone, it is an Agya, and the one who obeys the order is an Agyakari, and the one who does the Agya. This sixth chakra was created in the human beings when he started thinking. Thinking is language expressed. If we do not have a language, we cannot think. But it does not mean there is no thought coming into us. If we cannot express it, it does not mean there is no thought process working in us. But at that subtle stage, when the thoughts are coming to us, they are not in language. So they are not communicated to us. And that's why if we do not have language, we cannot understand what we are thinking. That's why you must have seen children cannot communicate to us what they want because they cannot say what they are wanting. They feel the urge in the stomach and they want to ask for, say, water or something, but they can't say it to us. And that's why they cannot think what they have to say about. But afterwards, when you start thinking and putting it into language, that language is stored in our brain, as shown in the picture on the left-hand side and also on the right-hand side of that yellow and black. Then it comes back to us later on as thought waves, as if somebody is talking to us. But before the language starts, we can call it the inspiration or the thought process at the very early stage comes to us in certain forms. And those forms are in light and shade. They are not in language, but in light and shade. And after coming to Sahaja, if you go deep into your thoughts, you'll find they are nothing but lights and shade that are covering our Agya Chakra. One after another, a light and shade like a circular lighthouse, they give a kind of a pattern in our head. Now these patterns are molded into language by us at a very early stage, and these are sort of filled into the cups of language, and then these cups are kept reserved in the brain and they come to us that way. When we think, we really understand it because it's a language that comes to us. So what happens to the animals? Do they think or not? They get a thought, an inspiration. But they won't be just thinking about it. Now these inspirations come to them as words when they start living with human beings. So these inspirations go into the thought again as we do. For example, you give somebody a name, say you call him say Tom or something you call a dog. So now he knows that this word means calling me. So he connects himself with that word. But when he does not have the word, when he is just an animal, he is just there, he doesn't think. That's why they are very spontaneous and we are not. Animals are extremely spontaneous, but because they do not think. And this has created the greatest problem for human beings, how to get beyond thoughts. It's a little complicated thing because perhaps I can see that very clearly as you cannot see the light. And then the light forms the language. And then language, according to us, becomes our thoughts. But these thoughts are really conditionings on us, and they are not inspired things. They are not coming from inside, and that's why we are not spontaneous. For example, if I am sitting here, now I cannot keep quiet as a human being. I'll be thinking about something. I'll be thinking, what am I going to say? Then should I say this or not? Or if I say this, will that be all right or not? Will that go into their heads or not? All sorts of thoughts will be coming into my head. Then from one side, I will be questioning myself. From the other side, the answers will be coming. All right, you say this, and if you say like this, they may appreciate you. Go this way, that way, they will understand. Like that. You see, so the sorting out goes on in our brain through our experiences of this lifetime of ours. Whatever have been our experiences in this lifetime, in dealing with people, in getting experiences from others, all these are conditioned into our brain. And the whole thing becomes a thought process which comes to us through this interaction of thought and action and thought. We just start weighing which action to take, what thought to be put in, how to solve it, and we think we are analyzing ourselves. It's a very superficial thing. Actually, you do not analyze anything whatsoever. You do not. As I told you the other day, you do not do anything. So your thinking is nothing but a bubbling going on. Because when, it's like a sea even, which is so deep down, so quiet, when it touches the shore, it has a action and reaction. In the same way, when you are seeing at something, because your attention is outside, immediately a thought wave is created out of that, which goes back and gives you all the images about it, whatever you know about that particular thing, and it comes back to you as a thought process. It's going on all the time. And it can be so maddening that we cannot stop our thoughts. It just goes on like mad. You don't know, you can't sleep because thoughts are coming. Sometimes they could be horrifying, sometimes they are gratifying, sometimes romantic, sometimes absolutely negative, sometimes very positive, sometimes you feel I must do this, sometimes you feel I shouldn't do this. But when you actually do, you do not think. It's surprising, we never notice that when we are doing that particular thing, supposing I say I am going to speak, these things. Now when I have thought about it, that I thought say about 10 minutes before, when I am speaking it, I am not thinking that what I was going to speak. Because that time I think and built in that process of thinking into my brain and put it somewhere stored, and then now when I have started this flow, that is coming directly. So human beings have developed, I should say, a process which can be a very sickening thing, very, very sickening. And this comes out of both of these. Is one, the left side that we call the ego, which has gone this side, and the right side we call the superego. All the conditioning on the right hand side of the superego gives us the fears, the dangers, the possibilities, whatever we have experienced before. As they say, those who have been burnt by milk. Also take a cold drink after blowing it a little. Because you have been burnt, you know something liquid has burnt you, so you think maybe this may also burn your tongue. So you may try to do that. It is so spontaneous that time that you feel that, oh, it's very spontaneous, but it is not. It has been stored before in your experiences and something there that you are afraid of, and that's why you do it. If you once realize that this thought process is absolutely not necessary for us to exist, there is no need to have any thought about the future or about the past if you want to exist as human beings. Animals do not bother. For example, animals know that they are going in the jungle. Now suddenly they find some other animal coming from there, and they know that you have to attack. Now what's the use of thinking about the animal that is going to come? Supposing it does not come, then it's such a waste. But they have a hole here, and they have no problem as we have, because they have a hole, the whole thing goes out. It doesn't stick for more than a minute in there. But you can condition them also by experiences they are conditioned. By experiences that they have had so far about other animals and things, they are conditioned, and they act accordingly. So there's a tremendous difference between us and them is that we think about everything. I mean, we think it's a very great thing to sit down and think about. And we think it's very wise to sit down and think about it. Any problem comes in, we think better sit down and think about it. But now what do we do when a problem arrives? We think about it in relation to whatever we have been doing before and whatever our experience have been. In the same way, they want to think about Sahaja Yoga. Now you cannot think about Sahaja Yoga. First of all, you become thoughtlessly aware in Sahaja Yoga to begin with. You cannot think. But it is a happening about which you cannot think. It's a living happening. Thinking is a dead movement. It's not a living movement. Whatever is dead in us comes back to us as thought. Inspiration is living, not the thinking. Inspiration is very different from the thought. For example, books are in the library. Everything that we have thought of or have got it or experienced is in the books. Whatever is new coming to us is the inspiration. Now just find out how many new things you are thinking. Perhaps not even a sentence. Mostly we say that this gentleman said so, that gentleman said so, that gentleman said so, or I said so. I mean said. If you can think about that is coming, just coming to you, you don't have to think for it, it just comes in strong. It is inside you, it just emerges and expresses itself. So that is the spontaneous living thing. That is what we call as inspiration, is a sudden glimpse of the knowledge that we get. But whatever we have thinking about is all the play of the dead. So this is the center of Christ. He resides in the center of Agya. And he is, in the Devi Purana if you read, was born long time before, was created much earlier, and how he developed into Mahavishnu, also you can read it for yourself because it's a big chapter, and I wish you all could go and read about it and find out how he developed into Mahavishnu. It is very interesting. Because all these things were written in Sanskrit language, we should not say that Mahavishnu was not in the Bible. written at a stretch by one person. So that part is a part of Christ's creation before he came on this earth as Christ.
Actually, Christians do not know anything about his becoming, how he became Christ, or what was the need to have Christ or a son to come down. Why not God himself would do the job? And this is the reason why I would request you to read for yourself the incarnation of Mahavishnu, by which you realize why Christ was born. And it is the most important incarnation because he is the principle. He is the principle of creation. Tattva, as they call it in Sanskrit language, he is the Tattva. Ganesha, though resides in the Mooladhara, gradually evolves to be Christ at this stage. From that red chakra up to this chakra, he becomes Christ. He is the principle. Now, what is the principle? Within us, what is our principle? Is, say, the Kundalini, you can say. In this, the electricity is the principle of this one is. In the same way, the creation, the whole creation, if you take it as such, it is the principle and the support of this creation. He represents the essence of creation. Like we can say, we have a family, husband and wife, and the child. Now the child is the essence of husband and wife. He is the essence of the family, of the house. The whole thing is sustained for him, is created for him. Till they did not have the child, there was no meaning to that house, no meaning. But when they had a child, then they had a meaning. In the same way, Christ is the essence, is the Tattva itself. He is the Omkara, as they call it. He is the first sound that was created, Om, when the primordial father and primordial mother separated. They created this sound. And he is that sound which is filled into all pervading power and looks after and supports. Actually, it is more the support, because looking after is done by the father, you can say, or by the mother, but is the support of all the universe. And because he is just the essence never dies. Say, my essence is my spirit. It will never die. The body dies, all the creation will die, but the essence has to be there. If the essence is lost, then nothing could be there. That's why he is the most important incarnation, because he is the support. Now this incarnation is placed in this Agya Chakra of ours. Here, in the center, where the optic nerve or optic thalamus cross each other like this, in the center is a very subtle point, which moves both the sides like this and like that. And it creates two sounds, hum, ksham, hum, ksham, hum, ksham. Hum is on the right hand side where you have seen. The superego is there. And ksham is on the left hand side where the ego is. Now these two sounds create two kinds of vibrations. The hum sound creates the vibrations which make you think, I am. Hum, I am. This comes from our existence power that we know we have to live in this world. We are not going to die. Any human being who tries to kill himself is abnormal. Normally, every human being, why? Every animal or any living thing tries to retain its life. That is through this power of hum, that I am. Now the superego on the left-hand side and the ego on the right-hand side is ksham. But now I'll tell you about the right-hand side, superego. In this superego, when you are conditioned by so many things, then you are frightened and you are worried, because these experiences make you that type of a person which has fear in the mind. And this fear is all settled in your superego. This starts from your amoeba stage, you can say, and is still today is being stored there. You are afraid of police, you are afraid of that, you are afraid of this. Some people are not afraid of these things but are afraid of something else, because whatever have been your conditions, whatever have been your experiences are all put down here. Moreover, say somebody reads the book of Dracula. Now he is afraid of the word Dracula. But the children who do not read, they do not know what is a Dracula is. If you say Dracula has come, they said, all right, let's have a look at him. But those children have read about Dracula. Oh, Dracula is coming, something terrible is going to happen. So, you see, whatever you have read, whatever you have gone through, whatever experiences you have had, all is in the superego. So this superego, in that, this center sends message. I am, you are, hum, hum, don't be afraid, you are. So the people who come to me, you have seen some people who come to me are victims of superego conditioning. And these are the people, actually at this stage only you can really discriminate between the two types. One who are very aggressive, the other who are absolutely, we should say, subordinated, frightened. These people, when they come to me, I have seen they go on crying and weeping, mother, this has happened, that has happened, and I really get tired talking to them. And there are so many of this kind that really you have to pay attention to them as Sahajogis, because you will have to deal with them, how to manage them and how to work it out. Now at that time, if a Sahajogi says, now you go on saying hum, 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 hum. A Sahajogi, if he says, then the vibrations will drive out his fear. Even if you are under any fear and you are walking around and you feel that there's frightened, you just say hum, hum, hum. Now, with this saying, the vibrations will clear out this side very nicely. Apart from that, that is the way you can get help from the divine, by saying hum. Now there are many things about hum and ksham, but as the time is, so I do not want to go into great details about it, but I would say the mantra for the right hand side is hum, and for the left hand side is ksham. The right hand side is the ego, which is real problem, you understand that, is a real colossal one. You have to face them. I say anything small here and there, I find the whole thing coming up onto my head like that. So what is the solution for a colossal ego? Colossal ego can only be conquered by forgiving others. Those who have ego must learn, if they feel hurt, they must say forgive. Then another person hurts them, say forgive. And not only forgive, but ask for forgiveness. Both things should be done, more asking for forgiveness. You have to ask for forgiveness if you have too much of ego. It is very important, because if you have too much of ego, means what? That you have pampered it too much. That means you have used it too much. You have dominated people, and that's why you have such a lot of ego. If you have such a lot of ego, you must all the time try to humble down in your heart. Now, in the heart resides the spirit. The ego, too much of ego in a person, always takes you away from that spirit. The reason is, in the heart resides that part of yours which gets completely obliterated or forgotten once you start pumping up your ego. But ego has its limits. It ends up into stupidity and foolishness. You take any person who is egoistical and who is blowing his own trumpet, you will immediately know because he'll be stupid. Without understanding what he's doing, he'll be doing such stupid things that you will start wondering, especially children, what's the matter with this fellow? Seems quite funny. And when the stupidity, you see, faces the person, then he sees for himself, oh God, how did I become so stupid? The stupidity comes to you because you forget the existence of God and your relationship with the whole. You think I am on my own. Why should I not do this? What is wrong in this? What is wrong in that? I should do these things. I mean, in this country, the way people are fighting for things, I mean, you must. Anybody, I mean, those so-called developing countries can't understand what's kind of a thing happening to these people, because the other day my son-in-law was reading an article that people are demanding now that a son-in-law should be allowed to marry the mother-in-law. And he just couldn't understand how can people gather together and ask for such an absurd thing like that. She is your mother. How can you say that way? I mean, it's something, an impossibility for people, normal people, to think like that a son-in-law can marry the mother-in-law. And what is there to make a law about it and to talk about it? It's a very difficult thing. All kinds of stupid things we are doing in this country, which really makes everybody roar with laughter, is because of our Mr. Ego companionship. It is not easy to understand how he befools us. It goes on befooling us all the time, and then we think, what's wrong? An 80-year-old man running after a 20-year-old girl, and the 20-year-old girl befooling this 80-year-old man, supposed to be a statesman, they start, and his statue is erected somewhere there. How is it possible? An elderly man, great-grandfather of somebody, but as soon as he opens his mouth, you are shocked at him. You think, from where this joker has come. The maturity is completely lacking. The other day somebody told me that, Mother, how is it our parents are so stupid and we are searching God? And the elderly people are so foolish and we are searching God. And then I said, no, maybe because of war the parents are disturbed, you see. Most of the parents were disturbed during war. And they said majority of them are like this. And the younger people are searching God and much wiser. And we don't know how to compromise with them because they are not searching God. Why is it they are not searching God and we are searching God? And if there are some searching, there are very few. Now I said this may be due to war, but somebody said, then what about America? You see, in America the people didn't face war so much. The stupidity that they have is sometimes surprising. That is the same thing, as I said, is the development of ego in a human being. Now ego is the thing that makes you think about everything. For example, now we have to say go from here to Birmingham. All right? So we think, now how will I go? Simple way is that I'll take a train or I'll take a car and go away. If there's no reservation needed, I will just jump into the train or go by the car. If the car is available, I'll go by car or by train. Finished. What is there to think about it? But no, then we must plan it out. So I have programmed now. I have to go. So you go to the station and find the train is not there because there was some accident, so train is not moving. So you are absolutely upset because you think that the train has gone. Now what to do? In that upsetting, you do not even remember that you have a car and you have to go by the car. Now, that whole thing upsets you because you had plans to go by train and you had planned everything. Now you cannot reach there, and what will happen? Now you are sitting here and worrying about it. Another person who is spontaneous, what will you do? All right, depends on, I may go by train or by car, whatever I feel like at that time. He's sitting tight. So he goes to the train, sees if the train is there, if it is nicely, there's a space available, he gets into it. If the train is not available, all right, he comes home, takes his car and goes away. So now you have informed the people that you must meet at such and such place. That also is there, you see. So those people are running up, down there, and they will be there at the station. Now, what's the matter? Even if they are at the station, you can meet them at the station. You go by train and you can meet them. What is there to be that much upset about it? You see, you can always contact them. But the way we get upset, we have spoiled the complete program of going to Birmingham, which is a very beautiful program that we have got. We have to meet new people, we have to meet many people, we have to enjoy ourselves. That's all finished. Because we had planned something and it did not work out, we are finished. All these things make us a miserable person. And we are so miserable and so grudging and so boring that those who are next to you just get fed up of it and they say, now shut up. If you are not going to Birmingham, if you are not going, don't go, but don't eat my head now. It's a common experience of many. If this Mr. Ego, he doesn't want you to be happy. He doesn't want you to be relaxed. He all the time gives you ideas and tells you do this and do that and you must get it done and this is to be done and you better inform that person, be meticulous about it. And it will go to such details that anything fails, you are finished because your nerves are already finished and shattered. Anything, even a drop of inconvenience comes into you or even a feather of disturbance is there, you are finished. And so everybody is rattling, we have tensions, we have problems. Why? What is the advantage of doing all these things? No advantage, you know that. But then why do you do it? Because you have a big ego. It won't allow you to rest. Whatever you may try, it won't. So what is the solution of that? Morning till evening, ask for forgiveness from God. Pull your ears from both the sides and say, oh God, forgive me. Oh God, forgive me, and oh God, forgive me. So this balloon of ego goes down a little. Remember Him morning, evening, every time. Remembering Christ brings down your ego very much. He did everything that was possible that you should not develop your ego. Everything that was possible. He was born as an ordinary carpenter's son. Lived in the most ordinary conditions. Kept himself behind the whole scene. He could have been born as Roman emperor. He could have been anybody there. But no, he was born himself you know that he took his birth in a place where even ordinary people do not take their births. But there also the light was there. Wherever he was born, there was light and joy. And this is the thing we have to know, that we have lost the joy because we have forgotten God Almighty. When we forget Him, that He is love and He is joy, naturally joy is also forgotten. And then we see people are not at all happy. They have affluence, they have money, they have everything, but still they are not happy. All the time they are in such a mess that you don't know how to talk to them. If you say this word, they'll be angry. If you say that word, they'll be angry. They are not at all normal human beings. They are sick people, sick with their ego. It's a very simple thing, is to ask for forgiveness. But how many times do we do that? Not even once a day, not even once a month, not even once a year. Even on a Christmas day, if we could say, forgive us, O Lord, for whatever we have done so far, it will work out. But that day we must have champagne to forgive him more. We must have gossips, and we must have all the arrogant things by the time it is the end of Christmas. This ego, the yellow side one, is the one that presses your superego too much. It does. It presses it so much sometimes that a person forgets that others are hurt by what they talk. On the contrary, they devise methods how to say things which are cutting, which are hurting, which are painful to others. They say such things. I mean, all the time if you see a person, say from a village, if he comes and sees, he'll think, are they quarreling or what are they doing? I mean, the whole discussion, even in the parliament I was surprised. The way they talk to each other, no bull will treat another bull that way. See, even a dog normally does not bark at another dog. No animal in the world all the time is barking at its fellow man. No animal in the whole world, I can tell you this much. Only the human beings, if two people are there all the time, they are going ho, 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 all the time that way. How is it possible? His ego and her ego, or maybe both his ego, are dashing at each other. And there is a kind of a funny type of feeling that, oh, I have mastered the thing. I have got the thing. I have got the point. I have proved the point. But in that, I have lost everything that was so beautiful and so much joy-giving within me. Actually, a sensible person would receive it from the place where two people are having an argument. Argument is a sign of tomfoolery. I haven't seen any argument coming to any end whatsoever. If it is, then it's all right. But it never does come. Because if you ask me questions, I answer. All right? If you do not like the answer, give it up. But if you argue with me still, and I argue with you, where will you end? Argument is not going to lead you to any knowledge, but a very terrible ego developing into you. The whole modern concept is ego-oriented. All Western countries are ego-oriented. They want to develop your ego and pamper it. There are so many other ways by which they do. Why I'm talking more about it? Because we are all supposed to be Western people and affluent people. We're supposed to be very wise and leading or misleading, I don't know, the developing countries. So we have to understand ourselves, where are we as far as our understanding of things are concerned. How ego is pampered within us is by a large-scale methods. They work on your ego throughout to have all these so-called enterprises. For example, to a woman they'll say, oh, you must have a waist like this, and you must have a face like this, and you must have, for a man, you must have this kind of a body, and you should be Mr. Universe, or you should be something. So the man starts working on it immediately. There are so many people I've seen running on the roads in this cold, I don't understand, like mad, and some of them are member of parliaments. The whole night they keep awake and the whole day they are running about. I say, what are you doing? What are to keep health, you must do it.
शुभदां वरदां नमो नमः विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता शुभदां वरदां नमो नमः विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वभूतिता निर्मला माता ब्रह्मस्वरूपिणी शुभदां वरदां नमो नमः विश्ववन्दिता निर्मला माता सर्वपूजिता निर्मला माता निर्मला माता निर्मला माता दुआ देना माँ सबको दुआ देना जय निर्मल माता दी जय निर्मल माता दी दिल में सदा रहना माँ सबको दुआ देना जग में संकट कारण कितने लिए अवतार माँ कितने लिए अवतार विश्व में तेरी महिमा विश्व में तेरी महिमा तू गंगा यमुना माँ सबको दुआ देना शरण में आया सुख ही मिला उसको माँ सुख ही मिला उसको बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ बैठ के दिल में ओ माँ लौट के ना जाना माँ सबको दुआ देना सबको दुआ देना माँ सबको दुआ देना जय निर्मल माता जय निर्मल माता दिल में सदा रहना माँ सबको दुआ देना मानव में अवतर के कर दिया उजियाला माँ कर दिया उजियाला कलयुग में माया है कलयुग में माया है फिर भी पहचाना माँ सबको दुआ देना सबको दुआ देना माँ सबको दुआ देना जय निर्मल माता दी जय निर्मल माता दी दिल में सदा रहना माँ सबको दुआ देना श्री बोलो श्री भगवती माता जी, श्री निर्मला देवी की जय।
Shri